From the Built Ford Tough studio at FedEx Forum, it's the Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South, on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app. Now, here's your host, Gary Parrish.
All right. I'm here. My name is Gary Parrish. I'm speaking to you from Midtown Manhattan, New York City. Bennett Doyle back in Memphis inside the Built Ford Tough studio, FedEx Forum. Glad he's with me. Glad you're with me. Hope you're getting through the day best you can. And I hope we get audio issues fixed momentarily, because in this moment, I can't hear a thing. Music, Bennett Doyle, nothing. There we go. I recognize that song. Now we're popping.
You got me.
Technical. I hear you now, Bennett.
It was a close call.
Everything's starting to feel normal now. Technical difficulties to start off the last show before Thanksgiving. But hey, let's not focus on that. Let's focus on two things.
Let's just be thankful.
Let's just be thankful. It's Thanksgiving week, for crying out loud. Memphis Tigers have an opportunity to win the Maui Invitational. Memphis Grizzlies have an opportunity to slap around the lowly Detroit Pistons. We're going to talk about both of those things momentarily. First, though, quickly, let me set today's schedule for you. Chris Vernon, he's the host of the Chris Vernon Show, weekdays, noon on Grind City Media. He joins me on Wednesdays. Today's Wednesday. Chris Vernon going to be here in about 20 minutes. I'll talk Tigers and Grizzlies with him. When I finish chopping it up with Vernon, we'll take a break, come back, do 5 more things you need to know, at which point we're going to discuss 5 previously undiscussed stories. Among them, Kansas-Duke was college basketball's biggest game of the night. Jayhawks won, even though their best player was ejected. He kicked another man in the head. We'll talk about that in about 40 minutes. The college football playoff rankings were officially updated last night. As expected, only 3 SEC schools are in the bracket. We'll run you through that a little later on in the show. The blockbuster, Wicked, has led to an unusual amount of piracy in theaters. That's what Bennett's telling me. I'll get him to explain what's going on. We'll do that in the third segment. 2-time Cy Young Award winner Blake Snell, still very much in his prime, has signed a 5-year deal with the World Series champion Los Angeles Dodgers. So the rich get richer. My God, how's anybody ever going to beat them dudes? We'll talk about that in just a bit. And Conor McGregor continues to lose sponsors after being found liable for sexual assault. I'll tell you who dropped it. We'll do that during a segment we call 5 more things you need to know. Then we'll eventually do GP's carry out and we'll call it a day. So that's the rundown. We got a lot to get to, but I want to start with what could be and hopefully will be a magnificent Thanksgiving Eve for Memphis sports fans, because your Memphis Tigers, Bennett, they have an opportunity to win the Maui Invitational. After beating Michigan State yesterday, they get Bruce Pearl's Auburn Tigers today in the title game. And then tonight, inside FedEx Forum, it's the lowly Detroit Pistons in town. That's the good news. The bad news, I know you saw it, that injury report popped up yesterday, 5 o'clock. Guess who's on it under the word out? Ja Morant. We'll get to that in a second, but let's focus. Let's focus on the Tigers first. They'll play first. They are probably the bigger story right now. I told you yesterday I moved them all the way up to 13th in the top 25 and 1. And after they went out and beat Michigan State convincingly on Tuesday afternoon, final score 71, Michigan State 63. The Tigers are 6-0. I kept them at 13th in the country, and now they play Auburn later today with an opportunity to add a trophy to the trophy case, a Maui Invitational trophy to be exact. Big Bet Bennett, do you have Tiger fever? Tyrese Hunter continues to look excellent. That backcourt might be one of the best in the country.
Buddy, I have a Tiger illness. I am fired up. That was awesome. I mean, dude, it sets up so like Penny Hardaway just beat 2 of the best coaches in college basketball, maybe in the history of the game, to get to this time.
Can I tell you something?
Yeah.
There are only 6 people in Division I college basketball who have won national championships. Only 6 active coaches who have won national championships are still coaching in this moment in the sport of college basketball. And Penny Hardaway has spent the past couple of days smacking 2 of them around.
Yeah, no, it's been super impressive. The backcourt is awesome. Yesterday was great. Like, it was kind of, we were sitting there before the game started thinking, damn, man, because UConn had just lost, and it's like, oh, God, like, that's still a massive win regardless. But then if you lose to Michigan State, like it kind of takes a little bit out of it just because, you lose a little bit from the big UConn win. Didn't matter. They handled business, and the backcourt looks awesome. Tyrese Hunter's amazing. The vibes are great.
Vibes are great. I do think UConn backing its loss to Memphis with another loss to Colorado does take a little bit out of that. I mean, just by definition takes a little bit out of that win. Now you're not the only team that has beaten the back-to-back champs. Colorado, unranked Colorado, sub 70 at KenPom, Colorado has done the same thing. But I'm with you. Like, it takes something away from it, but it doesn't make me think that Memphis is fraudulent in that
right.
They're suddenly not as good as I thought they were 2 days ago, because they backed it with not just a win over Michigan State, but a impressive win over Michigan State. Like, they pulled away in the second half. They controlled those final 20 minutes. They win at 71-63. They didn't shoot it quite as well from three against the Spartans as they had previously shot it, but they are still shooting 45.4% from three on the season. That ranks third in the country. They're top 25 in adjusted offensive efficiency, according to KenPom, top 40 in adjusted defensive efficiency. I mean, we're just talking about a rock-solid team. Again, one that's shooting 58.6%. That's their effective field goal percentage. That ranks top 40 in the country. So we can debate whether they're really top 15 or top 25 or where should you have them, but they are showing themselves to be a quality basketball team, a team I believe is worthy of being ranked when the AP poll updates on Monday, regardless of what happens today against Auburn. They look big, they look strong, they look competent. Penny's doing it, and I don't have much to add from what I said yesterday. Like, I'm happy for him to be enjoying this success. It has not been the easiest 6-year run for him. It has not been the easiest off season for him. He lost, by his own doing, a bulk of his staff just before the start of the season. Lost a player he was on some level relying on, that the collective had spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on. Lost that player. He quit the team, Tyreek Smith, on opening day of this season. Like, there's a lot of chaos and a lot of adversity, and they're handling it beautifully so far. And, we'll see where it is a month from now or 2 months from now. I don't have to remind you or anybody else that Memphis was ranked 10th in the AP poll last January, and then lost, 8 of their next 15 games to close the season and missed the NCAA tournament. So I don't guess we should be counting any chickens quite yet. But they look the part. They are 6-0. On one hand, you can argue it. They're 6-0 with 5 wins over top 100 KenPom teams, including a neutral court victory over the back-to-back champs. That sounds great. On the other hand, it is also 6-0 against 6 teams that probably will not be ranked, none of them, come Monday when the AP poll updates. So you can slice it up a few different ways. If I'm a Memphis fan, and I am, I'm choosing to look at the positive. The 6-0 just got a win over Dan Hurley, national championship coach. Backed it with a win over Tom Izzo, national championship coach. And now you get an opportunity to take a shot at an Auburn team that is currently ranked number 1 at KenPom. Kansas is number 1 in the human polls, but Auburn is number 1 at KenPom right now. That is why Memphis is a pretty sizable underdog against the Tigers. The latest number I saw was Auburn minus 9.5. But either way, like, no matter what happens, Memphis has launched itself into the national conversation with what it has done to start the season. Even if you lose today, I think the Tigers will be ranked in the top 25 of the AP poll come Monday. I'm just telling you, unless they get completely blown out, I'll probably keep them right where they are if they lose today. And where they are in the top 25 and 1 right now is 13th. But if they win, they got a shot to go from unranked in the AP poll all the way into the top 5. We'll talk other college basketball stuff later, but just in the context of this story, Kansas did beat Duke last night in Las Vegas. So Kansas just has a bye game this weekend at Fog Allen. they'll be favored by about 20 points. Assuming they win that, Kansas is going to remain number 1 in the AP poll come Monday. Gonzaga, if it wins the battle for Atlantis, will probably be number 2 in the AP poll when it updates on Monday. But if Memphis were to beat Auburn, which is 4th in the AP poll right now, number 1 at KenPom, I think you could make a very reasonable case that Memphis could go all the way from unranked to as high as number 3 in the country. And if Kansas or Gonzaga were to lose, as high as number 2 in the country. And if Kansas and Gonzaga were to both lose, as high as number 1 in the country. Let's not get too far ahead of ourselves, but just a big opportunity on a massive stage. That Maui Invitational Tournament, like the winner of that registers. You know, there's a lot of multi-team events happening all over the country. They're not all relevant. They don't all force people to pay attention to you. But if you go win 3 games in Maui, historically, it's a great sign. And B, it forces people to recognize you and forces people to understand that you're off to one of the best starts in the country. By definition, almost, you cannot win this event and not also be off to one of the best starts in the country. So it's all great stuff for Penny Hardaway's Tigers. Again, 5 o'clock Eastern, 4 o'clock Central today on ESPN, Memphis, Auburn, title game, Maui Invitational. And then about 3 hours after that tips off, we'll get another professional basketball game inside FedEx Forum. It's game 19 of a scheduled 82. It's the Grizz Pistons tip a little after 7 o'clock Central. Tickets available, Ticketmaster.com. The Grizzlies are 8.5-point favorites, even though they will once again be without their franchise point guard. That news was delivered at exactly 5 o'clock Central yesterday. Short status report relative to, you know, what we're used to. Just 4 names on it. That's not bad. But all 4 names listed as out. Zach Edey, left ankle sprain. Vince Williams, right ankle sprain. Gigi Jackson, right 5th metatarsal repair. And Ja Morant, left knee contusion. At Grizzlies PR, up to its old tricks. Bennett, I think we're choosing to believe that this is not serious. It's just, bump knees with somebody. And maybe if this were Game 7 of the NBA Finals tonight, we'd be ready to go. But given that it's just the lowly Pistons, we go win this one without Scottie Pippen Jr. With Scottie Pippen Jr. Is that what we're thinking here?
Well,
That's what I'm thinking.
First off, they're not lowly. They're way more competitive than you tend to give them credit for. I hope they're not listening right now because the Pistons, I believe in you. I don't think you're lowly. I think you're on the come up, actually. But you still should be able to win that game without Ja, I would think, at home, regardless of if the Pistons are back up or not. If I can put on my conspiracy theory hat for a second, in the last game, there was a little murmuring about the lack of Scottie Pippen Jr. minutes. I believe he played I think he played like 14 minutes or something like that. But the least amount of minutes on the team for someone who played in that game significantly.
Well, doesn't that make sense? I mean, it coincides with Ja Morant coming back. What are we even talking about?
That's what I'm saying. Like now that Ja's out for this game tonight, Ja was coming back from a significant injury. He played a lot in that game, and Scottie didn't play a lot, and it makes me think that I'm not saying that they planned for this. I'm just saying now you got a fully rested, ready to go Scottie Pippen Jr. to lead the way tonight. I mean, it works out pretty well for you.
All right, Bennett. They weren't planning on a Ja Morant knee contusion. And
I agree.
Scottie Pippen
I guess what I'm saying is, I bet it ain't that bad of a knee contusion. How about that? I think that knee contusion will heal pretty well. That's where I'm at. Yeah.
Bennett, I don't work for Ortho Sal.
Yeah.
Right. I'm just a patient in Ortho South, same way you are. So it's possible I don't know what I'm talking about, but here's what I'm willing to say publicly. Even though it's possible I don't know what I'm talking about. There ain't no such thing as a good knee contusion. They're all not great. Mm-hmm. But I hope Ja Morant has the best knee contusion you could possibly have, and he's back on the court ASAP.
Yeah, I'm excited about this week for the Grizzlies. They're in a good spot.
Any spot against the lowly Pistons is a good spot, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. Even without Ja tonight, it is tonight's another Memphis Sounds jersey night, and they've got like all the cool gear in the team store. So make sure you come down and get some of that for Thanksgiving. But yeah, man, I'm feeling good about it. This is a big stretch, like we said, and they've got a chance to. What was our saying yesterday? Create a cushion.
Got to create a cushion. Hashtag create a cushion.
This week is all about creating a cushion in the West. I think the Grizzlies are 4th in the West right now. They've jumped, right?
Bennett, I think anytime you have an opportunity against the lowly Pistons at home, you have to take advantage of it and continue to hashtag create a cushion. The Grizzlies are up to 4th in the Western Conference standings, 11-7 record. They're 2.5 games back of first place Oklahoma City. The Thunder are 13-4. If you're wondering how the standings look, you could just call it up on your phone, on your app. You have it right there on your phone, I'm certain. But if not, let me help you. Thunder, first place, 13-4. Golden State Warriors, second place, 12-5. After that, it's Dylan Brooks and the Houston Rockets at 13-6. And then the Grizzlies in 4th alone at 11-7. In all seriousness, you don't know how many games we're ever going to get with Ja Morant, Desmond Bane, Jaren Jackson all healthy, or even, frankly, with even 2 of those 3 healthy. The track record's not great lately, but they have only appeared in 2 games together this entire season. We now know it's going to stay at 2 after tonight because Ja has been ruled out with that knee contusion, but you're still favored by 8.5 points. You still should be able to win this game. And like every win you get while shorthanded is a huge win. Nobody's going to celebrate a victory over the Pistons in any sort of dramatic way except for you, Bennett, because you have a weirdly high opinion of them for some reason. I've never seen somebody so impressed by a basketball team that loses way more often than they win. But whatever, we'll see tonight. My point is, even without your franchise point guard, you're still an 8.5 point favorite. All the evidence suggests you should be able to handle this at home. And if you can add another win, it's not going to lead Sports Center. It's not going to be celebrated dramatically by anybody other than Bennett, but it'll count just as much as whatever NBA game does lead Sports Center tonight. And if you're the Grizzlies, you can go from 11-7 to 12-7, and you can do it with Ja Morant in street clothes. Any win you get under those circumstances, again, I'm willing to call it a good win. Hashtag create the cushion. Hashtag increase that cushion. It's Grizzlies Pistons tonight, 7:00. Bennett says they're going to be in the Sounds jersey. He wants you to get down to the Grizz Den. We might get you a second job down at the Grizz Den.
Yeah, buddy. I'm good at slinging merch.
You ain't no Mike Wallace, but
no, they should get me. They should consult with me. I think I'm pretty good at slinging merch.
I just saw myself for the first time. Do I need to address the sun?
No, wow. Gee, I haven't looked at you in a second. It got significantly worse since we started the show.
It looks like
it looked okay at first. My God.
The sun has just come up over that building right there.
Man's in the twilight zone.
The sun is right there. It was behind that building a second ago. When we started this show, when we started talking about the Tigers and Grizzlies, the sun was behind that building. We weren't dealing with this. Now the sun is that's the thing about the sun. I don't know how much you know about the sun, but it rises during the day, and then it eventually sets. But we are still in the rising phase of the sun today, and so it has risen. A lot like Jesus, it has risen above that building, and now, oh, buddy, I'm playing with the sun now. We'll get that fixed. Then we'll talk to Chris Vernon after the break. It's the Gary Parrish Show. We're live from New York, presented by Ortho South.
Who will lead the Grizz in steals this season?
I'm going to go with Pippen for steals this season.
So I'm going to go with Jaren.
I'm going to go, as long as he's in the rotation, I'm going to go Jake LaRavia for total steals, and I'll have Marcus Smart in my back pocket for steals per game.
Hey, Grizzlies fans, be sure to tune in to Grizzbeat, where the panel and I break down all things Grizzlies and take a look at the rest of the NBA as well. The show is live every Wednesday, 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Yellow laces, really bright yellow primary color. You got
black on the trim and on the edges.
I gotta get 'em.
And you've got some red there as well. Look at that right there, Mike. Look at that right there.
Man, look at that G. Look at that G, boy. That G is moving strong right there, too, man.
Get all of your HBCU sports and culture news by tuning in to HBCU Huddle with CJ Hurt and Mike Wallace. New episodes drop every Thursday on grindcitymedia.com, YouTube, and Spotify.
Kroger shoppers and Grizz fans, want exclusive last-minute discounted ticket deals texted straight to you during the Grizzlies 2024-2025 season? Sign up with the new Kroger Buzzer Beater deal. Fans can sign up by texting Grizz to 636-479 or visit your local Kroger store in the Delta Division and scan the QR code. By signing up, you agree to receive recurring automated promotional and personalized marketing text messages from the Memphis Grizzlies. Consent is not a condition of any purchase. Message frequency varies. Message and data rates may apply.
Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing beats catching your Grizzlies IRL, and nobody knows that better than you. So next time you want to hit up a game, Ticketmaster's got your back with tickets to every upcoming matchup. Whether you're catching the Grizzlies at home or on the road, you'll find tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Keep putting that jersey collection to use and get Grizzlies tickets today. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside again soon, Memphis.
I can't tell you how many people texted me and thought it was the funniest thing ever that you were sitting on the front row in your jersey.
No.
You were wearing a Tony Allen jersey on the front row. They're like, yo, tell him to check in.
That joke was smeety. I told Tia, I said,
I didn't have a hoodie on, though. I mean, a sweater on.
I told Tia, you should have sized up on that joint, man.
Yo, shout out to Robin Hood, man.
The Chris Vernon Show, live on weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
And I don't hear him.
I got it. I got it.
No, he's got it. And you got him.
Yeah.
I hear him.
Got it.
Cool.
Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball, but the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board, a class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GVWR.
Welcome back, Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South. I'm in New York City dealing with sunlight issues over skyscrapers. Chris Vernon's back in Memphis. Bennett Doyle's inside the Bill Ford Tough studio. I talked to Vernon on Wednesdays in the second segment. He joins me now. Chris Vernon is GP. How you doing today?
Yo, are you going to be back for Thanksgiving?
I'll eventually be back on Thanksgiving, but I will wake up in New York City on Thanksgiving with the Macy's parade happening just outside this window. I'm going to walk downstairs and watch the parade for at least 2 or 3 minutes tomorrow morning.
Are you going to be able to get out of there?
I've done this a million times. What I end up having to do is I have to walk maybe like 2 blocks. Like I stay basically on Broadway, so everything's blocked off around here. So I'll walk to 8th Ave, 9th Ave, 10th Ave, and I'll probably catch my car 10th Avenue. So it's not ideal, but it's not the biggest deal in the world.
Why are the Tigers so awesome?
They
hold on a
are,
second.
aren't they?
Hold on. Since I'm doing this from home, hold on.
What's going on?
Oh, he's bringing props. It's like a carrot, like a modern day Carrot Top. He's gonna bring props to the show. Look at that.
Oh yeah.
King Cotton.
Love it.
Did I give that to you?
Is Penny still like the King Cotton guy?
I think I might have gotten this from when we went and visited your father and your brother.
That's what I was thinking about. Yeah,
I think I might have. I'm not sure where that came from, but I've had it for, I don't know, well over a decade now.
But it's more than that. I bet it's like 20 years because this was like Sports 56, the Chris Vernon Show, Gary Parrish Wednesdays, presented by Ledbetter.
Yeah,
that's what
that's
that
right.
was.
That's right. Ledbetter Foods. And now look at that. I mean, if you could ever find that King Cotton jersey that he is wearing in it, but I mean, I heard you talking yesterday about how everybody wants him to win.
Yes.
Everybody. I know he doesn't feel that way. And sometimes it doesn't feel that way when everybody gets mega negative about everything. But there would be nothing better than Penny Hardaway delivering the best Tiger basketball season that we've ever had, or certainly one of the best Tiger basketball seasons we've ever had. And look, great start. I have had the best time watching them the last 2 days, truly. Like, that UConn game was so wildly entertaining. And then yesterday, I kind of felt like, hey, this is a free roll. And if you get a win is so much bigger than a loss. I heard you talking about your rankings and where they're going to be. And the other thing is, there's just not much margin for error in the crap conference that they're playing in. But when you go back and look at their schedule, no matter what, it's going to have a win against UConn and a win against Michigan State on it.
After they beat UConn and then UConn loses to Colorado, I think if you then back that with a loss to Michigan State, we do feel a little different. We're like, okay, UConn might not be good, so what does that overtime mean, really? Colorado.
The first thing that ran through everybody's mind was, oh, my God, this is Arkansas last year.
Right. Like it felt huge in the moment, but given what we now know about UConn, maybe not as big as we thought. But they back it with another win over another national championship coach. And now they get Bruce Pearl and Auburn. Tigers are ranked 4th in the AP poll, BP's Tigers. They're number 1 at KenPom. Like, if Memphis wins this game, I really do think when the AP poll updates on Monday, Penny's Tigers go from unranked to the top 5. And depending on what Kansas and Gonzaga do over the next few days, it could theoretically go all the way up to number 1. I'm not predicting that because Kansas isn't losing this weekend. So Kansas is going to be number 1. Gonzaga, if it wins Battle for Atlantis, probably number 2. But I could see Memphis going all the way from unranked to number 3 if it gets another win today, a win against Bruce Pearl's Auburn Tigers.
I mean, is anybody going to have 3 better wins than that?
Yeah.
If you went UConn, Michigan State, Auburn, you've got to have the best wins. You have to. There's no way somebody's got 3 better wins than that.
Well, I mean, Kansas right now would have. We don't need to debate it, but like Kansas right now already.
Yeah, we do.
Okay, then let's debate it. Kansas right now has Duke, North Carolina, Michigan State. That's probably better.
No. North Carolina was what? They were 12 last night, 11? Right, and by the way, that same North Carolina team that got ran out by Auburn.
Yeah, you would have.
Number one. Yuki.
You know what? I'm the one in charge of this shit. I can do it however I want.
Number one.
Yeah, let's go.
No, I think Kansas would have wins over nationally ranked Duke, nationally ranked North Carolina, and the same Michigan State team that you've beaten. So the 2 wins would be, we're really just comparing Duke and North Carolina wins against theoretically Auburn and UConn wins. And given what we know now about UConn, I think you could argue Duke and North Carolina are better wins than UConn and Auburn, but I don't care. Number one.
Hey, Yuki. Hey, I'll tell you this too. UConn for real screwed us with that.
Yeah, they did not do us any favor. What would be more hilarious, by the way, what would make Memphians happier if today Memphis is up 17 in the final minute against Auburn, Penny calls a timeout, puts in Yuki.
Oh, that'd be the greatest thing ever. Or they're up 17 on Auburn, and Dan Hurley starts assaulting the ref, even though it's not even his game.
He's just still out there.
Yeah, he's stuck around. He's stuck around in Maui, and he's just. If there was ever a bet on, was there a coach being apprehended by his assistant standing outside the referee's locker room? It was him. He would. By the way, it made me feel a little better. It's not just Memphis. It wasn't just that he was mad about Memphis. This dude was about to blow a gasket yesterday.
No,
he's gonna, dude. He needs to seriously.
Yeah,
he needs. He's gonna go the Mick Cronin route. It's just too high stress, bro. You can't take that. Your heart can't take that. Like, you can't do that every day of your life. You're just going to blow out at some point.
Well, here's the thing. He's talked about this. Like, he's been in therapy for this type of, behavior, and he got better for a period of time where he was just calmer, but clearly he has not shown himself well in Maui. And this is the thing that when there were people who believed he'd be great in the NBA. There were others who were skeptical. And among those who were skeptical, this is exactly the first thing they would point to. You can't have that type of temperament and be an NBA coach with professional basketball players, grown men, 82 times a year. And, people who believe in Dan would say things like, well, Dan knows that, and so he'll just change. Well, like,
no,
you can't change. Like,
that's your personality.
That's who you are. Do you know how? Like, I have personality defaults that I don't like, and I constantly am like, if I could just change that, then all of this other stuff would be smoother. And it's hard to. The idea that you can just change your behavior because you need to. Like, if that were possible, like, we'd all be better off. Like, most of us can't just decide to change our behavior and actually do it. You have to really put hard work in. And I know Dan has, but it seems like, I guess this is the politest way to say it. It looks like he's regressed a little bit because the way he's behaving is not you can't behave like that. You just he's out of line.
The only way, and look, you went through it covering Calipari all those years, and you can, like, you're not going to change completely. It's just when things aren't going well, and we all have friends like this. They're never like that until it's competition time.
Right.
It's the he is such, and everybody just frames it as he's such a competitor, and as long as you're winning, nobody cares. But when you start losing, it accentuates that competitor thing. Whatever snaps in you ends up, because you saw the worst of it obviously in the first Calipari years. He was a much different guy as the years went on. It's a lot easier when you're 30-2 than when you're scuffling, in Conference USA. And right now, we're in the scuffling phase because his team's lost back-to-back games against unranks after winning 2 national championships.
Like, if I were somebody close to Dan Hurley, cared about Dan Hurley, I would really put together a montage. Like, you've seen this before, and I'm not comparing Dan's behavior to, like, drug addiction or whatever. This is much on the list of things to be concerned about in this world. Dan Hurley's sideline behavior is really low on the list. But, that's what we're talking about. So let's talk about it. I would, you've seen it with interventions. People will, like, video somebody strung out and then show it back to in a more sober moment and be like, is this what you want your kids to see? Is this how you want to be perceived and remembered? And that can be a real eye-opening experience when you show somebody, yo, man, this is what it looks like. This is how you're acting. If I had that kind of relationship with Dan, I would put my arm around him and be like, you are elite at your profession. You're going to be a Naismith Memorial Hall of Famer, just like Bob Knight. But just like Bob Knight, when people think of him, the first thing they think about is not coaching greatness, even though he is a all-time great. They think about the outburst and the behavior and the temperament. Do you really want to be remembered that way? When people think of Dan Hurley, what do you want them to think of? The Hall of Fame coach who won 2 national championships, or the guy who couldn't control himself? And maybe that would be one way to, here, Dan, look at it. This is what you look like. Are you comfortable with this? Is this the way you want to be perceived? And
because it really feels like we always do in the NBA, the fake tough guy, the hold me back. Yeah. I really feel like everybody is always holding him back, and they have to. Like, if he wasn't restrained, something terrible could happen.
Well, he's Jersey City, man. He'll tell you that. And, and Bobby, his brother, is just like him. Like, Bobby is bananas. Like, people it's less obvious to people, I think, because Bobby's coaching at Arizona State. We don't see him as often. Bobby's just as crazy as Dan. Like, they're both.
You want to hear something crazy? I was talking to Brevin the other night. Brevin obviously grew up in New Jersey, and he played against the Hurley boys.
Yeah.
And in fact, Dan's team beat them in the state championship. And he was like, Bobby was just like the straight arrow point guard, right? Set up the team. Everybody remembers Bobby Hurley as an all-time great in college, right? He was like, Dan was like a like real flashy, like, and just like a total loose cannon. And I was like, what? And he's like, yeah. Played nothing like his brother. Like, he was like the loose cannon on the court. Like, he might just throw one behind his back or go between his legs. Like, he played, he played with like this swag about him. And I'm like, that is crazy.
Well, his life is, again, I hesitate to even say things like this. I was going to say his life's been hard. Relative to like actual hard life, his life hasn't been hard. But my point is, he's in a family. He was a very good basketball player, but never the best basketball player in his family. That was Bobby. He's obviously a very good coach, but he was never the best coach in his family. That was his father, Bob Sr., who's a Hall of Fame, Naismith Memorial Hall of Fame coach who won countless championships, or lots of championships, I guess you could count them, at the high school ranks. So, like, Dan's had to deal with that his whole life. Never as good as your brother, even though you're good. Never as good as your dad, even though you're good. And he finally was able to have his own accomplishments and stand on his own and not just be Bobby's brother or Bob Sr.'s son. And now that's getting conflated with he doesn't know how to control himself on the sidelines. And as somebody who likes Dan and has known him for a long time, I hope he does get that under control, because that's not, you don't want to be known for.
Who cares about Dan Hurley? We're number one.
Number one. We're number one. We're number one.
Auburn's beatable.
They're beatable.
I ain't scared of Auburn.
No, I'm not scared of them. They lost 2 players because of a fist fight on a plane. So we ain't got even. So I ain't worried about no Auburn Tigers. We'll see how that game goes.
That whole video of that guy standing pissy in the corner because he wouldn't get the ball.
Yes.
That was awesome.
It's actually amazing. They are, according to KenPom, the best team in the country, given all the stuff they're dealing with.
Awesome. There's a whole montage of a guy getting pissed off every time they don't pass it to him.
He would run to the corner, and then somebody else would shoot it, and he would go.
And by the way, the guy was making it every time.
Yes, he was mad at the makes because he wasn't the one getting to take the shots. That's who the Tigers are playing.
You just got to put a little pressure on them, and they'll start fighting each other.
They'll fight. Just get them to fight. That's the key against Auburn. Get them to fist fight. One more thing before I get you out of here. Grizzlies back inside FedEx Forum tonight. Lowly Pistons in town. John Morant on the injury report. He's out. Knee contusion. Tell me that we believe it's no big deal, and he'll be back. He'll be back just like that.
Yeah, I think he'll be back. Well, Friday is a Emirates Cup game. We got to get an Emirates Cup win at some point, and we're playing the lowly Pelicans on Friday. He'll be back for that. He'll be back for that. And you know what? You know what's crazy? Also, a bit of a reunion tonight that I had forgotten about. Ivy and Edie played together for 2 years.
Yeah.
And they'll be on an NBA. I guess they won't be on an NBA court. It would be cool to have them on an NBA court, but at least I had forgotten about that until I was looking through stuff this morning. And I was like, I'll be damned. Because Jaden Ivey obviously hit the game winner for them and is having a breakout year for the Pistons. Every one of the Pistons games goes down to the last shot. So hopefully the Grizzlies make it.
Yeah, you got that connection between the 2 former Purdue standouts. And then obviously Ivey's mother worked here in the Grizzlies organization before becoming the head coach at Notre Dame. So a lot of connections.
And we've got to get an Oklahoma State pitcher with Smart, Cade, and Tony.
There you go. So all sorts of connections tonight. It'd be a fun night inside FedEx Forum. All right, buddy, get in your car, get downtown. I'll watch the Chris Vernon show in about an hour 20.
Holler. Safe travels.
Bye-bye. All right. That's Chris Vernon from the Chris Vernon Show. We come back. I mentioned Kansas-Duke was the game of the night last night. Hunter Dickinson got kicked out for kicking a Duke player straight in his head. We'll show that to you next. Gary Parrish Show presented by Ortho South.
Now every time you go to Miami, you can go see, that's a statue of me there.
No, I don't look nothing like that thing, man. Look,
I would have been offended.
Look at that. That is you, T.A.
Oh my God.
Oh, look. Hey, y'all got to get that screenshot, man. Put that on the.
The Chris Vernon Show, live on weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Yellow laces, really bright yellow primary color. You got black on the trim and on the edges.
I gotta get 'em.
And you got some red there as well. Look at that right there, Mike. Look at that right there.
Man, look at that G. Look at that G, boy. That G is moving strong right there, too, man.
Get all of your HBCU sports and culture news by tuning in to HBCU Huddle with CJ Hurt and Mike Wallace. New episodes drop every Thursday on grindcitymedia.com, YouTube, and Spotify.
Can't wait. It's time to get it popping. It's going to be crazy. The fans are going to be loud. We need just energy.
We're going to need, the form rocking. We're going to need, everybody in Memphis to be out there to come to support.
When the fans are good, we're good. Simple as that.
A Bane three. Yes, sir. Desmond Bane with ice water in his veins.
We'll ride the energy together.
Anticipate each challenge. Make a quick response. Capitalize on every opportunity and win. Greatness won't wait. It's true in basketball. It's true in banking. Grizzlies checking from Pinnacle. Play hard. Bank easy. Open a Grizzlies checking account with at least $100 and a recurring direct deposit by August 31st. And you could receive a $200 direct deposit bonus into your account. Details at grizzliesbanking.com. Member FDIC.
Grizzlies fans, dunks, dimes, and no-looks are great on TV, but nothing compares to catching them IRL. And that starts with buying tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Ticketmaster gets you to the game so you can catch every highlight in person. From seeing your favorite Grizzly stars up close to hearing the squeak of the sneakers on the hardwood. Put that jersey collection to use and get tickets at Ticketmaster. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside, Memphis.
Orthopedic injuries can be unpredictable, unforeseen, and unscheduled, and Ortho South understands this better than anyone. Since your injuries don't make appointments, you don't need to either, and that's because Ortho South welcomes walk-ins during the weekdays and the evenings and even on Saturdays. So next time an unforeseen injury makes an unscheduled appearance in your life, visit orthosouth.org to find your nearest urgent care location. Just walk in, and Ortho South will take care of everything, especially you. Learn more at orthosouth.org. That's orthosouth at orthosouth.org. Now I got 5 more things you need to know.
Number 1.
Final score, Kansas 75, Duke 72. That was the game of the night in college basketball. It happened out in Vegas. It was called the Terry's Chocolate Las Vegas Showdown. Bennett, I know you're a chocolate connoisseur. Let's stop here for a second. Are you familiar with Terry's Chocolate?
I've never heard of that in my life. Where'd they come from to be able to sponsor this big event?
It's a British chocolate brand.
It's probably high end, right?
It did look like it could
like
be.
They probably had to sell like 100 boxes of chocolates to be able to sponsor this thing, right?
Well, how about this, Bennett? You know what? Let's not wonder. Let's not recklessly speculate about Terry's chocolate prices. Let's see for ourselves.
Yeah.
Let's see how much we could get a box of Terry's chocolate for.
It sounds
on
gourmet.
Amazon. Oh, Bennett, I could get you right now some milk and dark chocolate oranges from Terry's Chocolate for $15.
Dude,
you want some $15? I'll get them right now, Bennett. Do you want some $15 Terry's Orange Original? I can get it for you right now.
No, I don't like orange. That's a horrible combo. Orange and chocolate. Like, I hate that. My wife likes those things. I don't know if it's Terry's, but it's like the little like chocolate balls that like surround. It's like a orange that the chocolate surrounds, and you break it. It's nasty. That stuff's gross.
Bennett, I wouldn't testify this. I wouldn't testify to this after, swearing in.
Mm-hmm.
I would have to say I cannot recall, just to play it safe. But I don't think I've ever tasted the combination of chocolate and orange. I don't think I've ever had that.
It's weird. It's weird. It's not good. I don't know why.
I'm putting them in my cart right now. I'm gonna get some.
Okay, get some. I like. I can do like the chocolate covered strawberries. That's pretty good. That's a great combo, right? A chocolate covered strawberry. That's a great combo. Some call it an aphrodisiac. Chocolate covered.
Stop there. Are chocolate covered strawberries an aphrodisiac?
I think so. I think that's why people buy them for Valentine's Day.
I thought people just liked them because it's chocolate and strawberries, and why would you like that? But you're saying people are trying to.
I think it gets you feeling some kind of way.
Really? Have you ever? Do you feel differently after one bite of a chocolate strawberry? I don't know that I do.
I don't know if I do. I think like the idea is that maybe it makes your partner feel some kind of way.
But why you? Why not you? But your partner?
I think women like chocolate covered strawberries for Valentine's Day.
That sounds sexist, Bennett.
I knew you were gonna do that. I knew that's why I wanted to quit talking about it.
Why are you trying to make it out like women get a little more loosey goosey with chocolate covered strawberries than men? Why are you submitting that? Why? Because they don't have penises? Is that what you're saying?
I'm submitting that most guys buy their wives chocolate covered strawberries around Valentine's Day for a reason. That's what I'm saying.
And I think the reason is because everybody likes them and they're easy to get. That's always been my reason. I know my wife likes them. They're very easy to get. That's why I buy them. I have never bought my wife a chocolate covered strawberry expecting anything in return.
I mean, I guess like I don't mean that it's an aphrodisiac in the sense that like an oyster might be considered an aphrodisiac. Like it's just like it's the symbolism of the chocolate covered strawberries.
Bennett, are you telling me if my wife or any other woman ever approaches me and says, "Hey, I'd really like to see you tonight, and if you could bring some chocolate covered strawberries and oysters," you're telling me that that's a hint? I should take that as a hint.
Absolutely.
I never have.
Absolutely, you should.
I'm looking at Terry's chocolate now.
I'll leave it at that.
Okay. Can I interest you in some mint flavored Terry's chocolate?
Mint flavored chocolate. Well, that's like okay. I like those little Andes. Those are good. Those are good. Those are good.
Oh, way underrated. Little Andes
yeah. If
awesome.
A restaurant has those, that's like upscale dining. Like you want people to frequent your restaurant. Have a little bowl of Andes sitting right there at the counter when you go check in for your reservations.
This is what Mexican restaurants got figured out.
Yeah.
All right. This is what Mexican restaurants figured out. All right. I know everybody wants to close the border. I hope it doesn't have a negative impact on the things that I love, like Mexican restaurants, because they got it figured out. You walk in. You sit down for 6 seconds, and they've got salsa and chips on your table. And if you want a big bowl of white cheese dip, they'll bring it to you give them another 3 seconds, and they'll have that for you. And then you enjoy your meal. And on the way out, you know what they got for you right there at the counter? Little Andes.
Yeah, so good. Those are so great.
They get you on the front end. They make you feel great on the front end. They make you feel great on the back end. I don't know that there's a more pleasurable dining experience than your just casual Mexican restaurant. You give me chips, salsa, cheese dip at the front end, Andes at the back end. I almost don't even care what happens in the middle. That's a good day.
Yeah, you throw in a jumbo marg or two, and I'll live there.
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't even know why people are always trying to start these other restaurants. Like, I'm trying to get a Michelin star. But buddy, just put chips and salsa and cheese dip on the table on the front end. Have some little Andes by your cash register. I don't care what happens in between. That's a good. I just had a great dining experience.
Yes,
I don't care what happens in between.
Yep.
Anyway, I'm interested in Terry's chocolate. I've already got
orange.
I got the orange in the cart already because I want to experience that. And then I've experienced plenty of chocolate minty stuff. I think that's my favorite. Little Andy. Great example of it. But I'm going to order those as well just because I'm looking at them and they look like something I would like. So I'm about to purchase $30 worth of Terry's chocolate. And I guess this is why Terry's chocolate decides to sponsor a college basketball game.
Dude, okay, so they're actually known for the orange thing. Like that's like their thing. This is when I was like, my wife likes those. It's those Terry's orange originals. That's like their thing.
Would you like for me to get a box for your wife?
Please, yeah.
Just ask. I'll say yes.
Yeah.
Just ask me.
Can I please get a box of Terry's original orange for my wife, GP?
Yeah, Ben, I'm going to get you that. Do you think she would like a light chocolate or dark chocolate? I think dark's healthier, better for your heart.
I don't care about that. We like the milk chocolate.
Okay, Ben. Yeah. Maybe I'll get you like a variety pack or something. I'm gonna look into that. But anyway, Terry's chocolate. That's what's up. You can get it at Amazon. This is why they paid to put their name on a Kansas Duke game, I guess. Hunter Dickinson, the preseason first-team CBS Sports All-American, was ejected in the second half. He kicked a Duke player right in the head. Let's watch him kick a Duke player right in the head, and then decide whether he should have been kicked out or not. Watch this.
Okay.
They're on their own 7-0 run. Clive comes over to help. Dickinson misses a bunny, and they're going to keep it here. And now a little mix-up on the floor.
Yeah, that's going to be a foul on Malik Brown because he undercut Dickinson on the shot. Take a look. Watch Dickinson. He gets great position. Brown does a good job. And Dickinson, we got more stuff going on.
Yeah, he got him with one of those shoes that he put back on right there.
Oh.
Yeah, you got to get kicked out. I mean, you did what you did. We're all watching it. That's not a natural move.
No.
It's not a basketball play. That is somebody with a short temper who has shown himself capable of doing like little stuff like this before. That's somebody getting dragged to the ground, fouled, frustrated, and decides to put his foot in another man's head. He was ejected from the game and should have been ejected from the game. If you were watching it, Fran Fraschilla was on the call. Franny's excellent. I'm not picking on him. In real time, he was like, I don't know, let's make it a flagrant one and allow Dickinson to stay in the game. And I think a reasonable person could have reached that conclusion.
Yeah.
But ultimately, I think the refs got it right. I think you do that in that moment, you deserve to not to get to play anymore in that game. He was appropriately kicked out. What'd you think of it?
Yeah, I mean, the same. Like, I think that all this stuff happens so fast, like in real time, and we have the benefit of seeing it all slowed down in slow motion. That I guarantee you he regrets doing that, but he obviously did it on purpose. Like, it's one of those where like he did it and then he kind of like brings his foot back kind of fast. Like it's one of those where you're in the moment, this guy's on top of you, you're pissed off at the play that just happened, and you do that and you're like, oh, I shouldn't have done that, but you did do it. So you gotta go. Yeah.
And one of the things I've noticed is that when these things happen in basketball, like these unusual, like, God, he hit him in the nuts. Was it intentional? Or like, oh man, a foot to the face. Did he do that on purpose? Whenever we see unusual stuff like this, it is often the same dudes doing it. Once upon a time in college, it was always Grayson Allen.
Yeah.
It was like, is that intentional? Well, I don't know if it's intentional or not. I can't get into his head. I just know what just happened doesn't happen often in college basketball, but it's now happened 3 times with him. So it's got to be intentional or something, because we never see anybody else get involved in these situations. But here's Grayson Allen again. In the NBA, it's always Draymond Green.
Right.
Like Draymond Green gets locked up with somebody, gets flailing with somebody, hits somebody in the head, pulls somebody down, kicks somebody. And it's always like, do you think he did that on purpose? I don't know, but he did that again. And he's always doing shit like that. And I think what Grayson Allen would tell you is it's not like he has a thought goes through his head like, oh my God, this just happened, I'm about to trip somebody. It doesn't even work like that. It's just when things go bad, your instincts kick in, and that's the type of thing that his instincts, that's the place that they took him.
Right.
And he had to work to undo that. Like that's what therapy is on some level. Therapy's a lot of different things, but on some level, it's like when these things happen, this is the way I react. I can't keep reacting this way. How do I get myself to a place where I don't react that way anymore? Like Grayson has had to work on that. I don't know if Draymond has. But my point is, when these things happen in basketball, like if I would have just told you last night, there's a million games going on in college basketball, and in one of the high-profile ones, a high-profile player will be ejected for kicking somebody else. Who might that be? Take a guess. You might have said Hunter Dickinson, just like based on reputation and past stuff. So it's just always the same dudes. So whether he did it on purpose or not, to me is almost regardless, beside the point. He did something you can't do, and he has a track record of doing things you're not supposed to do on a basketball court. This is just the latest one. I thought he was ejected and deserved to be handled that way. As for the game, Kansas has not been a computer darling this season. Like, they're still only 7th at KenPom, even though they're ranked number 1 in the AP poll. I've got them number 1 in the top 25 and 1 at CBSSports.com. They've been there all season. But they do, like I was talking with Vernon, already have big wins. They've got a win over Duke. They've got a previous win over North Carolina. They've got a win over Michigan State. So even though Kansas is 7th at KenPom and was actually a 4.5-point underdog as the number 1 ranked team in the country last night against Duke, I think it's reasonable to suggest that Kansas does have the best resume in the country. They're undefeated, and they've got 3 notable wins: Duke, North Carolina, and Michigan State. As for Duke, I'm not really that concerned. They've lost 2 games already, and I guess that's not ideal. But one of them was to a Kentucky team that looks like a legitimate top 10 to 15 team. And the other one is to the number 1 ranked team in the country on a neutral court in a 1-possession game. They've got to win at Arizona, so they've got a notable win on the resume. Yeah, Duke has 2 losses, but mostly because John Shire's challenging his young team and taking them on the road and taking them to big events. And to me, the most encouraging thing, if you're a Duke fan, they're ranked number 1 in the country right now in adjusted defensive efficiency. When you're starting 3 freshmen, the best of whom is 17 years old, and you're already elite defensively, like, that's, ask any coach, they'll tell you that's the hardest thing when you've got a young team, is teaching them to guard at this level, teaching them team defense at this level. Well, Duke's starting 3 freshmen, heavily reliant on first-year players, and they're already elite defensively. I'm not worried about them. They got more losses than I guess I assumed they would have at this point in the season, but they look the part. Cooper Flagg is incredible, and Duke and Kansas played last night, tight game. They could meet again in a Final Four, and it wouldn't surprise anybody.
Number 2.
College football playoff rankings updated last night. As expected, Big Bet Bennett, only 3 SEC schools made the projected bracket. Texas is the 2 seed, is your projected SEC champ. And then, just like Heather Dinich had predicted, Georgia's the 8 seed, Tennessee's the 9 seed. That means only 3 SEC teams in the bracket, and 2 of them would play each other in the first round, like we noted yesterday. If that's the way it actually ends up, and who knows if it will, still football to be played. But if that's the way it ends up, Greg Sankey will not like the way this 12-team playoff got off to this first-year start, because there's no way he wants the Big Ten having more teams in the league, and there's no way he wants 2 of his 3 teams playing each other in the first round. SEC fans, do they have a right to be upset this morning? Or, you know what, stop losing silly games like at Florida, and you'd still have 4 teams in this bracket?
Yeah, I think that. I think that also just the emergence of, the Big Ten's always been a good league, but I think that the Big Ten's more on par with the SEC than it's ever been, frankly. And so you're not leaving out the teams that have been really good in that league too. I mean, I don't know. I think that it's I think this SEC bias argument that we've seen over the years, I don't know if it's going away, but like it's not really showing in these rankings at all, right?
And it's not even one, like, when everybody is predicting, like, this is the thing I would always talk to college basketball coaches about when we get to bracketology season. Like, if Jerry Palm and Joe Lunardi and 4 other people who do projected brackets all have you out, there's probably not some conspiracy against you. It's like that's what the data shows. Like, you're probably on the outside looking in for reasons that basically everybody agrees on. And that's what I would say to the SEC right now. Like, it is, you might have 4 of the best 12 teams in the country, or more than 3 of the best 12 teams in the country. But based on the way we are supposed to be evaluating resumes and building a bracket, just about everybody agrees you shouldn't have more than 3 teams in this bracket. So you need help in other places, and your bracket-worthy teams to stop taking losses they're not supposed to take. In other words, if you want to argue, there is no way 9 of the best 12 teams in the country come from outside of the SEC. You might be right, but you're having an argument that does not matter because that's not the task that the committee has. The committee is, taking the, they're taking the 4 best conference, highest ranked conference champions and then giving them buys, and then they're filling out the bracket from there. And oh, by the way, I think most people understand this, but in case you are looking at it and a little confused, how is Boise State the 4 seed, given that Boise State is ranked nowhere close to 4 in any sort of human or computer poll? It is because you can't get a first-round bye unless you're a conference champion, and the 4 first-round byes go to the 4 highest-ranked conference champions. And right now, the Mountain West champ is projected to be Boise State, and they are ranked higher right now than the projected Big 12 champ, which is Arizona State. So that's how Boise State jumps from a lower place in the AP poll, frankly, a lower place in the college football playoff rankings, all the way into the top 4 of the bracket with a first-round bye. It's because they are the highest. They are the 4th highest-ranked projected conference champion. So they're sitting there as the 4th seed. Based on the projected bracket published last night, they would be waiting on a quarterfinal game against the winner of Arizona State and Ohio State. So Ohio State, after having what some described as the most talented roster in the country, could end up not even being a conference champ, having to play a first-round game against Arizona State, and then have to go on the road in the quarterfinals to play against Boise State. Again, this isn't an official bracket. We still got football to play, but based off current projections, that would be the path. Tennessee, Georgia projected winner would go on to play number 1 Oregon on the road. Another projected first-round game, Indiana, Penn State, winner at Miami. SMU, Notre Dame, winner at Texas. We'll update them again next Tuesday.
Number 3.
So, Bennett, you sent me this story. A staggering amount of fan piracy is happening at Wicked, according to Variety. It's the latest blockbuster that represents an interesting turn in movie-going behavior. Do you notice people ever? You're in the theaters all the time. Do you ever notice people filming Wicked or anything else?
I have. So we went and saw it last night, and it was full house, and I didn't see any of that. But basically what's happened is if you're on social media, you've probably seen clips from this movie that people are posting, which obviously is illegal, right? And I was talking to Jess and CJ about this. Like when we were growing up, you had like the FBI warning and when you go to movies now, like it's got the picture of the guy filming with his hood over his head and it's like, this is a federal crime. Like you could go to prison. But what we're finding out is, yes, it's illegal to film movies and post them on social media, but they don't have the manpower to be able to police this kind of stuff when it relates. Basically, what they're policing is people that are filming full-length movies and selling them or posting like a full-length movie online. They don't have the manpower to monitor everyone's social media account and see if they're posting clips from Wicked, right? And so you're seeing it everywhere, and it's kind of the first time this has ever happened where you're seeing clips from movies that are in theaters that people are doing. I'll be honest, I don't want to sound like an old dude. I don't really like it. I don't think it's cool.
You would consider yourself, you identify as anti-piracy?
Yeah. I think I'm anti-piracy. I like the movie theater experience, so I want people to go. They lose money off this stuff, obviously.
Bennett, let me ask you a question.
Yeah,
and I'm asking it from an honest place. If the movie companies don't have the manpower or anything else it takes to police this, as you say, and make sure this stuff doesn't live online, don't you think the policing should be left up to us as moviegoers? If you see somebody doing this in a theater, shame them. Say, hey, buddy, don't do that. I'm anti-piracy.
So this Wicked thing, and they mentioned in the story how this kind of started with Deadpool and Wolverine, how it just people started pulling out their phones and recording all these big scenes, the big cameos and stuff like that, and posting them online. And this is where it started. And what you're coming to find out is some of the studios actually don't really mind it because it's become like a new way of marketing. Like if you see this clip that looks awesome, you'll go. One of the guy's quotes was super interesting. He said, talking about movie audiences, a studio exec said that they have a different relationship with the material now. It's all just content to them. Which I hate that. Like I hate hearing a studio executive say that because I'm just like, dude, like it should be about people going and like sitting down and consuming your 2-hour movie and enjoying the movie theater experience. It shouldn't be all about going to the movie theater to get a clip to post on social media and go viral. Come on. That defeats the purpose of going to the movies.
It does, unless the purpose of going to the movies is to strictly create content. Then it actually is the purpose of going to the movies for that person. It defeats your purpose for going to the movies. But what if your only purpose for going to the movies is to get something that you know will be virally shared on social media? Then it's actually the point.
Then if that really is gonna become a thing and they're cool with it, then you need to create screenings that are for influencers or people that want to go and film it and post clips on social media. Or, we can even take it a step further. Like, people are singing and this is Wicked specifically, but people are going and they're singing and they're having a great time and stuff like that. Some people don't want to see that. Like some people want to go and sit in silence and enjoy the movie, which kind of brings up a bigger discussion of like movie theater etiquette, which you mentioned it. Like I'm for shaming bad behavior at the movie theaters. If I'm sitting next to someone and they pull out a phone and start recording it and their screen's like shining in my face, I'm going to say something. Like
Bennett's not going to put up with it.
Dude, put your phone away. I'm trying to watch this movie. What's wrong with you?
What is wrong with you? Bennett says.
Yeah.
It's a fair question. Reasonable question. I got an idea. Hey, when we go see Dave Chappelle or Nikki Glazer or, stand-up comedians more often than not now, you know what we have to do? We have to lock our phones up. Have we reached a point with movie theaters where, just like if we're going to see a Dave Chappelle show, we walk into movie theaters, it's time to lock our phones up? I would endorse that. You know why?
Yep.
It would actually save me from myself because I, just like most people, I'm addicted to my phone, and I'll be sitting in the theater and I just want to check, just see if anybody died on TMZ. I just want to check real quick. I would think I would enjoy the theater more if I didn't even have an option to look at my phone and I could just focus on what's right in front of me.
That's it exactly.
Why do I have all the answers to everything, Bennett? Have we thought about that?
I go to the movies as an escape from, in a sense, my phone.
Your family.
Yes.
Your family.
And my phone. I put it in my pocket and I don't look at it the entire movie because, like you, I too am addicted to my phone, like most people out there these days. And so, yeah, it's obviously I love going to the movies, but it's also like an escape. And I'm not going to look at my phone for 2 hours. I'm just going to lock into this. I think that's good. I think it's therapeutic in a sense.
Lock them up.
Lock them up. Lock them up.
That's where I'm at. Hey, I just fixed the whole problem. Hey, Variety, call me next time. We're just going to start locking up our phones when we enter a theater, same way we do when we go see a stand-up show. Now we're all focused. We're all focused on the art in front of us.
Yeah.
And nobody is taking little clips and violating copyrights to create social media content. Everybody wins. So another one of the world's problems solved by me.
Can I make another suggestion? Now this is gonna sound a little old man, but I don't care.
Okay.
Let's get in and get settled. The previews are long now. It's 10 minutes of previews now in movies, right?
If they tell you the movie's starting at 7, you don't need to be there till 7:20.
Right. But I suggest getting there at 7 when you're supposed to sit down in your seat and go ahead and open all your food and stuff like that. Because when it's a nice part in the movie, a nice quiet part in the movie, I'm not trying to listen to that the entire time. Okay, I don't want to hear that. Dude, open your snacks while the previews are going.
All right, Bennett, you might be taking it a little too far.
Is that going? That's too much. That's asking too much.
I mean, do you want us to sew our lips shut too? Should we get somebody to put sutures in our lips? So
Yeah,
make
be
sure
quiet. Yeah, be quiet. Silence your phones and be quiet.
We need to staple our mouths together just so we don't slip up and mumble a word to disrupt your viewing experience.
Damn kids these days are ruining the movie theater experience that I know and love. I'm sick of it.
I will say, I don't need you rattling around a whole box of Skittles through my whole movie. I know that.
That's what I'm saying. No, and
I hear where you come.
Actually, the crowd that I was with last night was perfectly pleasant. It was a great time at the movies.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I hope they get all this figured out in one way or another. But I think we could get to a place where locking up our phones could become the norm. And if so, I actually, I don't like having my phone locked up, but I think I could benefit from it and enjoy the theater experience even more so than I otherwise would. So if they go that direction, I won't protest. Other people might, but it won't be me. It won't be me.
Yeah, it won't be me.
Number 4.
You ain't gonna believe what the Dodgers did.
They signed another amazing player.
They did. Blake Snell, 2-time Cy Young Award winner, still very much in his prime, has agreed to a 5-year, $182 million contract with the Dodgers. It's a $52 million signing bonus. Some of the money is deferred. The Dodgers have now created this thing where they get to go out and tell the best free agents, whether it's Shohei Ohtani 1 year or Blake Snell the next. They say, hey, listen, you come here, you win a World Series, and but you got to take some of your money later. You okay with that? And they're like, okay, I'm already super rich, so I guess so. Sure, just pay me later, and let's go win a World Series. The Dodgers are the best team in baseball. They just won a World Series with no pitching. Now they add Blake Snell. They get Shohei back, Clayton Kershaw, Gosselin. They're going to have a whole new starting rotation next year to go with the lineup that just ran away with the World Series. It's not fair, Bennett. And I know I'm a Mets fan who's probably about to watch my franchise give Juan Soto like $700 million. So, but on a day like today, it doesn't feel fair.
Yeah, when I saw that this morning, I was like, okay, that's BS. But hey, they got the money to do it.
This is like the Golden State Warriors, and it's not apples to apples, but remember
when they signed KD and everyone was like, that is not fair.
Come on, man, you're already the best, and now you're adding the best.
Right.
You're already the best, and now you're adding a new best player. Like when you are the best, and then you add somebody who is theoretically your new best player, like that. Come on, that doesn't seem fair.
No, it's not fair at all.
And the Dodgers didn't just add Kevin Durant. Blake Snell's not Kevin Durant, but he is a 2-time Cy Young Award winner, still in his prime. The best team just added an opening day starter, probably. That's who will get the ball on opening day. And the rich get richer. I guess that's what they say.
Yeah.
The rich get richer. Congratulations to the Dodgers, but sometimes it just doesn't feel fair.
Number 5.
Conor McGregor continues to lose business deals after being found liable for sexual assault. The biggest, latest headline, his whiskey, proper number 12, and his Irish Forge Stout beer, they had been carried all throughout Ireland in Tesco, Cost Cutter, Carry Out, Super Value. You can't go to a grocery store without seeing Conor McGregor's stuff in there. And now it's out of everywhere. He's losing one business deal after another. Turns out after being found liable for sexual assault, you can still go on to be president of the United States. That's not a problem. But you can't sell your whiskey in stores anymore. That's where we're at in this world.
Well, I think for him, it's also another part of this is the fact that he's not fighting anymore and probably not gonna fight. I don't see a real Conor McGregor fight happening at all anytime soon. And I think that just makes it easy for sponsors to pull out, right? Okay, you're not, there's this awful negative headline surrounding you and you're not really going to do anything in the near future to make us any more money. So what are we doing here?
It sounds like his reputation isn't very good. I mean, There's obviously this stuff, but I've seen it's one thing when anonymous accounts or bots or just, random people are like, Conor McGregor's a scumbag. But there are people who live in his world and have their blue check marks. And they're like, yeah, he's a rapist and he's a coke addict. like he's a drug addict, an alcoholic, and a rapist. He's a bad guy. Like, people are comfortable putting that on him now. Like, yeah, Conor McGregor was fun. Conor McGregor was a star. But, like, when you rip away all that stuff at his core, you know what this guy is? He's a rapist. He's a drug addict. He's an alcoholic. You think it's possible Conor McGregor's a rapist, drug addict, alcoholic? That's a harsh thing to say about somebody.
I mean, I hope not. I've made no bones about it. I've been a fan of the guy for a long time. Like, I've ordered all his fights. I like watching him, but you know, I mean, the ruling happened.
The ruling happened. So, he certainly has. Like, I have seen him before, and if somebody were to say, you know, I was just in the bathroom with Conor McGregor and he did 3 lines at the sink, I'd go, yeah, I can see that. That makes sense.
Oh, well, we don't have to lie. Like, you've seen his interviews, some of them. And I mean, you've seen someone strung out before. You know what that looks like.
It's not even those. It's just like when, you know, random cameras pick him up in the bars.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
He looks sometimes like somebody who is on coke. Yeah. Sometimes he looks like that.
Yeah.
And then the drinking stuff, you know, I've never drank with him, but people who have seem to think that might be a problem. Like, he might be done as I think he's definitely done as a relevant fighter. He might be done as a fighter, period. There's a lot of money to be made. And, you know, if 60 million of us will watch Mike Tyson get back in a boxing ring, you know, a lot of us will still watch Conor McGregor get back in an octagon. But
it seems like the UFC I mean, nothing's been said, but I can just tell, like, seeing Dana White's press conferences and stuff, it does seem like the UFC is kind of distancing itself a little bit.
Yeah, well, you know, we'll see.
Like a few years ago, it was like, we got to get the fight. Like, come on, we got to get him back. We got to get the fights. That's not happening anymore.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, again, he's still, if you put McGregor headlining a UFC in 2025, a pay-per-view card, like, that's the type of card I'll probably buy. And I don't buy most UFC cards, right? So I'm not ruling out that he'll fight again under the UFC umbrella because he's still a star. Like, he's still box office. Whatever card you put him on will be the biggest UFC card of the year in terms of pay-per-view buys. I would assume that that's true. But his days of being a relevant, like, championship level competitor, that seems over.
Yes.
You can't. I mean, he was losing nonstop when he was fighting at the end, and you just can't miss this much time. And,
no,
like, that's not the way fighting works. You know, you could trick yourself into it the way, you know, 25 years ago we did with Mike Tyson, whether it was heading into the Lennox Lewis fight or everything that happened after that. You can trick yourself into being interested in it, but you're not going to see what it is you want to see.
Right.
If you want to see Conor McGregor ever win in UFC again on a, you know, main event pay-per-view card, you're going to have to put him in the octagon with somebody who doesn't belong in there, who doesn't need to be in a main event, who, whatever the UFC equivalent of a Clifford at Nin, that's who Mike Tyson fought after losing to Lennox Lewis. Like, you need one of those type of people to put in the octagon with Conor McGregor because, and I say this as somebody who knows very little about MMA, but based on everything I've read, you put him in there with a champion at this point, and he doesn't belong in there anymore.
No,
he can't compete at that level. And now he's losing one sponsorship after another. Not a good time to be Conor McGregor. I hope he gets his life back on track. Be back with GP's Carry Out.
About owling, and you're telling me you didn't know owling?
What the hell is an owling?
Owling is worse than Tebowing.
What is an
How
owling?
far can Kyra zoom out on this camera?
She can zoom all the way out.
Can she
going
zoom
this
out?
way? What are you doing?
I'm owling.
Okay. Wait, why were we doing this? What is that?
Tune in to the Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurt live every weekday at 8 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Who will lead the Grizz in steals this season?
I'm going to go with Pippen for steals this season.
So I'm going to go with Jaren.
I'm going to go, as long as he's in the rotation, I'm going to go Jake LaRavia for total steals, and I'll have Marcus Smart in my back pocket for steals per game.
Hey, Grizzlies fans, be sure to tune in to Grizzbeat, where the panel and I break down all things Grizzlies and take a look at the rest of the NBA as well. The show is live every Wednesday, 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Kroger shoppers and Grizz fans, want exclusive last-minute discounted ticket deals texted straight to you during the Grizzlies 2024-2025 season? Sign up with the new Kroger Buzzer Beater deal. Fans can sign up by texting Grizz to 636-479 or visit your local Kroger store in the Delta Division and scan the QR code. By signing up, you agree to receive recurring automated promotional and personalized marketing text messages from the Memphis Grizzlies. Consent is not a condition of any purchase. Message frequency varies. Message and data rates may apply.
Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing beats catching your Grizzlies IRL, and nobody knows that better than you. So next time you want to hit up a game, Ticketmaster's got your back with tickets to every upcoming matchup. Whether you're catching the Grizzlies at home or on the road, you'll find tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Keep putting that jersey collection to use and get Grizzlies tickets today. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside again soon, Memphis.
Goldberg announces he's going to have a retirement match in 2025, and he said this on College Game Day.
We know you're trying to ride the coattails because the 2025 is supposed to be the year of John Cena. Goldberg, I have a message for you, my guy. We don't care about your retirement match. Your retirement match was 3 years ago. Go somewhere, go away.
Tune in to Grind City Wrestling weekly on the Grind City Media app and on the Grind City Media YouTube channel.
Welcome back, Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South. I'm in New York City. Bennett Doyle back in the Build Fort Tough studio and also at FedEx Forum. Want a special shout out to Abigail, who this is her last day with us. A lot of moving parts, Grind City Media. You know, Ben and I, we've been talking to each other for a while now. And once upon a time, when I was on the road, it really just comes down to me and Bennett. I'd have my little Comrex equipment here, and Bennett would be back in the studio right off of Mount Moriah. And it was just us two, and we could get through the show every day for better or worse. But over here at Grind City Media, there's a lot more going on. There's obviously a video component, and Ben and I are not capable of doing this by ourselves. We're the voices you hear, but there's always more people working behind the scenes. Abigail's been with us for a while now, so I don't know if you could turn your mic on, but I just wanted to show proper appreciation because, you know, when you work on this show, I don't say this with any sort of whatever, I just say it because it's true. We kind of have to work around my schedule.
That's
because,
right.
You know, I'm constantly traveling, and we have to pre-tape stuff sometimes, and you know, chop stuff together sometimes, and that means that there, in this time of the year, about once a week, I've got to reach out to Bennett and say, hey, can we pre-tape the second part of the show at 9 a.m. so that we can then do maybe the first couple of segments live, and then I can get to the airport in time to catch a 12:15 flight. And Bennett then has to relay that to everybody else. And what that requires everybody else to do is to theoretically come into work earlier than they otherwise would be, regardless of whether they got their own plans or responsibilities or kids or whatever. And as we've been sitting here in year 2 of the Gary Parrish Show at Grind City Media, I can tell you that has never, not once, been an issue. Everybody is agreeable, Abigail among them. So I just wanted to say, recognize you in that way and say thank you for being here.
Shout out to Abigail. Thanks, you
guys.
so much.
Don't know if you can hear me, but it's been a lot of fun. Got to learn a lot of things and meet really cool people, including you two. So I really appreciate it.
Awesome.
That's very sweet.
Yeah,
it's very
thanks,
sweet.
Abigail.
Yeah, appreciate you. And yeah, everybody working around my schedule. As Bennett knows, I'm not the type who hangs around the office all day just chit-chatting with people. I come in, I do my job, I get out of there, I start doing my other job. So I think sometimes that approach to work can maybe is not the best way to make sure everybody feels properly appreciated. But I hope everyone understands all of that doesn't go unnoticed. I recognize when I have to record early, I am messing with other people's lives and other people's schedules, and there's never been any pushback whatsoever, and I am forever appreciative of that. All right, let's get on with it. Let's do GP's Carryout.
It's time for GP's Carryout. One final segment filled with stuff to take with you. It's not everything you need to know, but it's most of it. What did we learn today?
A whole bunch of stuff, but we mostly focused on what should be a fun basketball day for Memphians. At least I hope it is. Tigers and Auburn out in the Maui Invitational title game. 4 o'clock Central tip. It's on ESPN, so it's a big stage. Dan Shulman, Jay Billis on the call. So one of the best broadcasting duos we have in the sport. And then about 3 hours after that tips, the Grizzlies trying to extend a winning streak, trying to continue to win while shorthanded. Injury report comes out yesterday. Ja Morant is on it with a knee contusion. He bumped knees in the most recent game. It is not considered to be serious. Talked to Vernon about it in the opening hour. Vernon said he thinks this will be a one-game deal. Missed this game against the lowly Pistons. And then you come right back and after a win with Scottie Pippen Jr. starting at point guard, Ja Morant returns to the lineup later this week. That's not definitive. We don't know that for sure. But if Vernon thinks it's true, I'm going to subscribe to it because I want it to be true. So let's root for 2 Memphis wins today. Tigers over the Tigers at 4 o'clock, and then Grizzlies over the Pistons 3 hours after that starts.
What's today's biggest game?
Bennett, we're going to see if you can ride Memphis to another victory because you've done it 2 days in a row.
All right.
4 o'clock ESPN. It's the undefeated Memphis Tigers against the undefeated Auburn Tigers. Auburn is a 9.5-point favorite.
Oh, this is easy.
The total was 156 points.
This is easy.
How easy is it, Bennett?
You're giving me 9.5.
9.5.
Buddy,
9.5.
We're riding the Memphis train all the way to the Maui Invitational Championship. Hoist the trophy.
You would think the betting markets would be a little smarter than this. Have they not seen Tyrese Hunter? Have they not seen PJ Haggerty?
Disrespect. I was looking because we played them 2 seasons ago, and obviously their team looks very different. They still have Johnny Broom.
Janai Broom.
Janai Broom, yeah.
He's awesome. He is awesome.
Why did I call him Johnny?
Well,
it looks like it says Johnny.
Yeah. No, trust me, before I knew he was Janai Broom, I also
called him Johnny Broom. He spelled it like that.
Man, I don't think they're ever going to put me or anybody else in charge of names. But as somebody who has to say names publicly, like on television and stuff, I'm a big believer in your name should be said the way it looks like it should be said.
Yeah, so, I agree.
So that looks like Johnny. That should be Johnny. If you want to be called Janai, we got to
work on that.
Do something. We got to do something.
Is he their best player?
Yeah, he's one of the best players in America.
Yeah. And he was a younger player in that game 2 years ago. But it was just I went back and looked to see if anybody.
Everybody was younger 2 years ago, Bennett.
Yeah, I got it.
You and I.
Yeah, I was just looking back to see if there was anybody from that team that's on their current team now. So Penny's had success against Bruce Pearl before. I got no reason to think this game won't be competitive. I know Auburn's awesome, but I think we're pretty awesome too. So I think it'll be tight.
Put that on a t-shirt. Yeah. Auburn's awesome, but we're pretty awesome too. Hashtag we're pretty awesome too.
I want that trophy.
That's the Tigers slogan heading into the title game of the Maui Invitational. Hashtag we're pretty awesome too.
Mm-hmm. I like it.
You cannot give Tyrese Hunter 9.5 points inside the Lahaina Civic Center. I mean, are you out of your mind? You think the betting markets be a little more in tune with what's happening with Penny Hardaway's program. You want to make them 9.5-point underdog to Auburn 2 weeks ago, fine with me. But Tyrese Hunter has emerged. PJ Haggerty has emerged. Some people out there are calling Memphis' backcourt one of the best backcourts in the entire country. You're going to give them 9.5 points? Disrespectful.
I will say, like, I watched some of that Auburn North Carolina game last night, and they're big. I mean, like all of their players look like have NBA bodies, pretty much.
Auburn's good. Auburn's really
Auburn's
really good. So
it'll be a test.
But we're rolling with the Memphis Tigers.
Let's go.
Then it says take Memphis plus the 9.5. Tip at 4 o'clock ESPN.
What are we watching on TV?
Okay, I told you about this last week, Bennett, when the first 2 episodes dropped on Paramount Plus. We're now up to 3 episodes. A new episode is dropping every Sunday. So the first 2 dropped last week. Then on Sunday, episode 3. This upcoming Sunday, episode 4. Landman. Landman's good.
Landman's good?
I'm watching Landman.
Okay.
I've watched all 3 episodes. It's got, I told you, Billy Bob Thornton, John Hamm, Demi Moore, Allie Larder.
Yeah, she's great. I like her.
And a young actress named Michelle Randolph, who seems capable of becoming a big star off of her role in Landman. She's the type of person that I think people on the internet, when they see her, they go, "Man, she's pretty."
She's great. Gotcha.
She's a pretty person. It's all happened. It's based in West Texas. It's tied to the oil fields, but it's modern. It's not like a period piece. It's a modern piece. Billy Bob Thornton is excellent. Like when Golden Globes come out, Billy Bob Thornton's going to be nominated for. He's excellent. It's a fun show.
Sounds like some good old Americana.
Man, they got cowboy hats and explosions. What else do you want? It's good.
Okay.
And then there's a family aspect of it. Billy Bob is the young Michelle Randolph, that pretty young woman I was telling you about. She plays Billy Bob's daughter.
Okay.
And they ain't really never been so close, but they're starting to kind of get close as she's coming of age. So you got that, like a little sweet father-daughter. It's whatever you want, Bennett. It's in there.
Okay.
I'm a fan. Landman, 3 episodes streaming right now on Paramount Plus. New episodes scheduled to drop on Sunday.
What's the best thing we've read?
Well, over at CBSSports.com, Bill Ryder has a piece on Victor Wembanyama, who, of course, is widely regarded as a generational talent, even without the numbers, but the numbers are there. As Bill Ryder details, statistically, Wemby's second season so far is lining up pretty close to LeBron James' second season in the NBA. So if you're somebody who thinks Wembanyama has a chance to be an all-time great, maybe the all-time greatest, just know that his career is tracking that way already. In year 2, he's having a statistical year similar to LeBron James's second year in the NBA. Future's bright in San Antonio, largely because of Wemby. You can go read it. It's on the homepage right now at CBSSports.com.
What's on tap next week?
Well, next week it's the week after Thanksgiving. And that's because Thanksgiving's tomorrow.
That's
and
right.
we ain't going to work on Thanksgiving, I don't think.
Absolutely not.
I mean, I technically will be working on Thanksgiving because when you're on the road, you're working. So I'm going to wake up here in New York City. And I've got time, Bennett. My flight is, I've got time if I want to wake up tomorrow morning. This is what I'll have the opportunity to do.
Mm-hmm.
I can wake up, walk out my front door, and the Macy's parade will be right there. I'm talking about I have to take 10 steps out of my front door, and it's right there in front of me. I'll be able to see it out this window right behind me. And if I walk downstairs, I'll be able to experience it in person for, I don't know, the 4th or 5th time. I have previously been unimpressed by the Thanksgiving parade in person. It's a great television product, not as impressive in person, but I'm willing to reconsider.
Okay,
give
good.
it a fresh look. I'm gonna go down there tomorrow morning with a new mindset.
Because it's a
mind.
dream of mine. I'd love to go to the Macy's parade one day. I'd love it. It's a Thanksgiving tradition in many people's homes, but ours too. Like we'll get up in the morning, cook some breakfast, and watch the Macy's Thanksgiving Day parade.
Well, I'm gonna get up in the morning, and I'm not gonna cook breakfast, but I might grab me a bite somewhere.
Okay.
Maybe try to find one of those maple bars y'all been talking about.
There you go.
And then I'm going to watch the Macy's parade in person, at least a little bit of it. And I'll report back to you on Monday.
Cool.
Which is when we could be celebrating a Grizzlies winning streak. We could be celebrating the Tigers Maui Invitational Championship. Monday could be great, Bennett.
Yeah, I'm excited.
I'm excited too. Everybody have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Everybody have a safe holiday weekend. Go Grizzlies, go Tigers. We'll be back here Monday at 10. Till then, be careful, be kind, be good. Rep your hood.
Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball. but the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board, a class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GBWR.
There's no substitute for experience, the knowledge gained from having been there before, and the passion to share what you know to make everyone around you better. It's true in basketball. It's true in banking. Grizzlies Checking from Pinnacle. Play hard. Bank easy. Open a Grizzlies checking account with at least $100 and a recurring direct deposit by August 31st, and you could receive a $200 direct deposit bonus into your account. Details at grizzliesbanking.com. Member FDIC.
Grizzlies fans, dunks, dimes, and no-looks are great on TV, but nothing compares to catching them IRL. And that starts with buying tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Ticketmaster gets you to the game so you can catch every highlight in person. From seeing your favorite Grizzlies stars up close to hearing the squeak of the sneakers on the hardwood. Put that jersey collection to use and get tickets at Ticketmaster. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside, Memphis.
Somebody else we have not seen in a long time is Morant. Since you've seen him, does he look any different to you, or is this the same superstar Ja that we were used to?
He's always getting better, so you just got to watch out for that. That's.
And it's a revenge tour. Yeah. It's a revenge tour, like the world's forgotten about me. And
I don't think they forgot.
The Chris Vernon Show, live on weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.